to another airline. They went out of business. Then I got it, you know.
Oh, nice.
I'm an airplane mechanic.
Oh, that's great.
He always say, we fix them and they fly.
We fix them, they fly. That's beautiful.
Pilot can't fly.
Very true.
They're more important than people think.
And if y'all don't fix them right,
Yeah. People are gonna die.
that's right.
Yeah.
We were seeing.
Just want to like, I don't know if you know about Bombardier. Bombardier, like the company that makes the
Bombardier?
yeah.
Mhm.
Because I was trying to get on their train they recently advertised. So I don't know if maybe there's other training outside the Bombardier.
Niners hiring for what
Like the wings, just training, maybe 6 months training, repairs, installation, assembly, and
oh no, for mechanic you gotta do two years. It's a 2-year certificate.
okay,
A 2-year degree,
okay,
at least associate's degree, and then you get certified by the FAA.
okay.
To be
Anyway,
a,
I just want to like,
do you want to be a mechanic?
not really, just childhood dreams. It's okay. Let's see if we can explore
You
it.
can do your private. You can go, but you still, if you're gonna become a mechanic, you're gonna do 2 years. To get your
I don't really want to be. I just want to like.
You want to fly?
I just want to explore.
Oh, you want to explore?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean, but
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
exactly. I don't know what you mean.
Like what I mean is that I don't want to take like a profession, but I just want to like see what people are doing.
Just have the experience.
You just have the experience, like part of the skill sets you just want to have.
Yeah, apprenticeship
I
program.
got you.
That's what you want, apprenticeship.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Not like intensive. You're something.
He can give you like an excursion.
I'm doing,
Discussion.
my position right now is I'm a apprentice trainer. I train the new mechanics that we're hiring.
Okay. That means I could take some of this training.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course you don't
I should have brought my iPad from the job. I could show you.
Yeah, that's good. Just one of those things, just like, oh wow, how these things work and all of that. Just want to.
On that note, you're next to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
So good to meet you.
My name is Osari Tim. I don't know like, but people call me Osas. Like I'm known as Osas.
Okay.
Yeah, from Nigeria. I'm a entrepreneur, business owner, an IT consulting firm.
Okay.
Yeah,
What business do you do?
IT consulting.
IT consultant.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm also into real estate investment.
Real estate investment?
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I said I needed to.
You need to come here.
Yeah, let me see what we have.
And meet
on
your
the
dogo.
table. And meet your dogo.
Meet your dogo. They don't know what dogo means.
By the way, when you say they're going to use that, I said, okay. And Kelly was close, I said, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we can do. Like, we're already into the investment. Like, let's
Yes.
see what we can get from it. So then when we see for the brother. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I'm super proud of what we're doing.
Yeah, what is that?
But like a big boss.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes, dogo
I want to be
means.
there.
You already died with the aircraft.
Yeah.
You
You're a professor. You're
Yeah.
a big boss.
That is a very delicate.
you are Odogo of plane repair.
Yeah.
They ain't got me here yet. Get there, baby.
That is why you need this. That is why you need
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah, that is why you need this.
That's the big
Yeah.
boss
You
there.
need
That's
this
the
and
big
this.
boss. That's what that B stands for.
Yeah.
Big boss.
That is good. I would call it Odogo.
Okay, you next.
My name is Ugochukwu, but in abbreviation, just call me Ugo. Yeah, and the meaning of my name is so unique. It's a story kind, you know. In our tradition, we have the eagle feather. the eagle feather, and the eagle feather is only worn by the king. Yeah, they stick it in his head, and that is how they identify a king. So the meaning of my name, it's like the crown, the jewels in God's crown. Yeah, so it's, yeah. So, you know, we Africans, we always have a name with significant meanings.
Our names have good
Yeah,
meanings.
we don't just give names, stone, bread, you know, stuff like that.
Stone head.
Yeah. So
So people are called.
our names are really, really meaningful. Yeah, our names are really, really meaningful. We have a story behind it. Every name have a story behind it. Yeah, in every African tribe, every story has a name behind it. So that is how we are over there. And I've been here in Houston for like 6-7 months.
Oh,
And
You
you
like it?
You know, so for now, you know. Yeah, and working with him, and so, you know. So we came to see your Dogo to like show us the way. So that's it. That's me.
But what have you been doing before now?
Yeah,
What
I
were you
was-
leading before now?
Yeah, I was in Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh, okay. You just moved to the US.
Yeah,
Oh, beautiful. What were you doing in Lagos?
I will walk.
What kind of work?
Yeah, out there on Unilever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You're one of the professionals that jackpot. You know.
Something like that.
Yeah. Jackpot means
Unilever is
it's a popular term in Nigeria for people who leave Nigeria. Jackpot means you run.
you just give up. You just
You
give up.
leave in a hurry.
Yeah,
You're out.
yeah.
So,
You're done. I'm done.
so for those who are leaving Nigeria and coming to Europe or America, or call them Japa, you have something called the Japa syndrome.
I think they just went to look for a greener pasture. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's
there's nothing wrong, but the volume is quite high,
Yeah,
and
the volume.
we've lost a lot of professionals. Some companies you wake up and some of your best staff are gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a major issue in Nigeria. Have you introduced
You
yourself?
said in Nigeria?
Yes.
Okay.
In Nigeria.
In Nigeria, I think in Africa. That's true.
Yeah,
Generally
the terms
but
Japa.
Nigeria-
Just for Nigeria.
Yeah, the word
terms
Japa is
Japa.
most nominal.
But the migration is more with Nigerians. Our population is huge.
Yeah.
So it's quite high.
Mm.
Have you introduced yourself?
Big
No.
boss.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Fixing on my baby.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, so you're next.
So my name is Sharon K. Griffin. I was just in Nigeria and I got my Nigerian name.
Yes. Tell us, what's your Nigerian name?
Aduke.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Aduke.
Okay.
And people
Chief Dele Momodu gave her a
people
name.
actually started calling me that, which I love because my DNA resonates back to Nigeria.
Okay.
So in the last 3 months, I've spent, last 3 months I've been there 3 times.
Whoa.
That's how much I love it. So
Wow.
my goal for us is to move there.
Whoa.
Wow.
I love
Like you
You can
guys
see
are
the way she's
right.
Wow, you are really loving for
I
you
looked at that
to
again
be
today.
considering
Huh?
that.
I was looking at that DNA thing.
He pulled them both out too.
My brother did the ancestry one.
Okay.
And which I showed you yesterday,
Yeah.
I did the African ancestry.
Okay.
And the Nigerian is 20% on each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And on the African ancestry, we saw the Cameroon and all,
yeah.
it dropped down to 17% from the 35%.
Yeah.
on the other.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
So it's consistent from Nigeria.
Yeah, so it means exactly. So you're Nigerian.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I said,
What?
you're Nigerian.
We need to do his own naming as well. We need to do
Yeah.
naming ceremony next time we come.
That one on the first trip was in Nigeria. And then she's been back subsequently.
Wow.
So I've been to Ghana, Senegal, Gambia,
Oh, wow.
Tanzania.
Tanzania, this part of Tanzania. So I love
And What I love about my husband is that his wife that passed, she wanted her locks to be taken to the motherland and buried. And he did that, like, when we met, he said, I'm getting ready to go to Africa and I'm going to.
Where's she from?
You know,
Well, she was from African American.
Yeah,
Did she did
Chicago.
a test to know where exactly?
Yes, she did. She's Sierra Leone.
Oh.
Wow.
Sure was. She did DNA too. It was Sierra Leone.
Yeah. So I thought that was very honorable.
I told you, it's the loyal one. I told you.
I'm loyal too.
When I see people, no, but in the context of men, women are generally loyal, right? But you know, being loyal isn't like something general to men.
Yeah.
I tell people men are polygamous in nature, women are naturalistic in nature. So when you find a man sticking to a woman, it takes extra effort. It's not something that comes naturally. Yes, it's not something that comes natural.
It doesn't come natural, yeah, you're right.
No, women are naturally that loyal. They're committed, they're
It's
committed.
a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation.
Exactly.
A lot of talking to the ancestors. Sir, buddy.
Look, we're going to discuss that when we get home.
I think he's happy somebody's speaking on his behalf.
Yeah, I see.
You can't hold it against him. I said it.
No, not at all.
I said it, not him. Yeah.
He's a man.
But yeah, I mean, I could see when I see men, I could see someone who, by default, has that loyalty and is committed, and that's a good thing. For me, I see that as a big deal.
Yeah,
I
it
see
is a
that
big
as a
deal.
big deal.
Well, I try to be an example for my children and all the young people I come in contact with. We got to rebuild the family.
Absolutely.
And that's what
Absolutely.
we're talking about. That
Yes,
that's what's
yes,
lost here in
yes.
America. Is
Yes.
that family bond.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right.
And it's very important. It's
Yeah.
very, very
Get back to
important.
that.
Very, very important. Okay, so typically I'm just going to do like a summary of each of the books,
Okay.
and then we get to discourse, about it. And
You know, man.
Yeah.
I feel like standing up.
that's fine. That's okay. That's good. That's good. So you can pick anyone. While I'm discussing it, I'll just have a copy each, so I can. So you also can pick a copy. Just scan through while we talk. So I'm gonna start with the. There's enough for everyone. Don't worry. There's enough. There's enough. I'm sure there should
What
be.
is the book? I just started writing.
So I'm going to start with the habit one. Huh?
I said 42 books. I think I just started writing.
You just said right.
my 10th book, so.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, 42 lies is not like.
That's good. That's
I
good.
did big
That's
something.
really, really good.
42 books.
That's good. That's good. Being an author is not easy.
It's not easy, like, severally
Well,
have a manuscript,
Yeah.
going back to it, just,
But
I will do it, I'll come for it now.
you'll be fine. So, billionaire habits. The secret billionaires used to build wealth that poor people don't use. So, in this book, I shared a lot about some of the billionaires I've met and what has been consistent with their habits. I also was able to share how being a billionaire is not really a function of what's in your account. It's a function of your mindset. And once the mindset is right, the money part is the least of your problem. Right? Once you have that right mindset, it's a matter of time. The money will show up. And I think that a lot of time the mistake we often make is we don't prioritize the habits, we don't prioritize what are the things that get me there. We're just after, do I have enough money? Am I rich enough? Am I, billionaire, one thing or the other? So the priority should be, the habits, the right mindset. So the first thing I talked about, come in if you're here for us, please. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, welcome, welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Welcome. There are chairs there if you want to sit, feel free, or you can join me on the couch. Yeah, so welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Welcome, sir.
My name is Daniel.
You're welcome. It's nice meeting you.
Sorry, I brought my son.
You've done the right thing. Welcome, young man. You've done the right thing, man. That's the right thing. Right there. So, part one of the book talks about relationship, basically, relational habits, and you can check the book context is in page 11. Right, so please let me check my second bag. You should see some more books on there. So we talked about relational habits. The first one I talked about is mutually beneficial relationship. So what I notice about billionaires is they are always looking for now. So oftentimes people think that rich people don't want to teach about wealth. They don't want to open up about their secrets. That's not true. What they don't want is that they are the only one doing the giving. Right? They don't want that. And it's normal, it's human. How many of us just want to keep giving and giving and giving, and the other party is just taking and taking and taking? So oftentimes the attitude of majority is that, oh, he's rich, he should give me. So there is not this entitlement mentality. I personally, for example, get tens of requests every day. And sometimes people come to me with requests as though I owe them something. And I don't even know these people. Right? You are even trying to work with your family members to say, hey, even though we're blood, you gotta work for yourself. Now, when you not even have people that you don't know constantly come and say, give me something, I want something, you should give me something, it can be quite painful. And I think that for a lot of wealthy people, it's the emotional torture that is the reason why they say, why not bring something? And so oftentimes people are saying, but he's rich, what do I bring? No, there's a lot you can bring. There are two ways to get mentorship from a wealthy person. Either you serve the wealthy person, right? What do you mean by service? I give you an example. There's a rich man in Nigeria, way richer than I do, who is my mentor. Now, I can afford to pay him. He's not even asking me to pay him. So the question is, how do I pay him? I handle his digital assets. So a lot of times on social media, you see him writing stuff, but it's after I've gotten his approval, and then I'm able to put it out on his behalf. Okay? Now, I would charge millions of naira for this, but because he's a mentor who's giving me free access, do you see the point now? I'm doing that for free in exchange for being able to have access to him. Am I making sense at all?
Yeah, sure.
So that way, the relationship is not parasitic, right? He's able to mentor me, give me counsel. At the same time, I'm able to help him in the area of my strength. So you can serve to be mentored. There's a pastor in Nigeria, is the biggest. His name is E.A. Adeboye, Pastor E.A. Adeboye. He founded Redeemed Christian Church of God. And he was sharing one day when he was preaching. And it's aligned with this, I think I talked about it in the book, how his son, he said, my son just died. And there's usually a Yoruba interpreter, and the interpreter kept quiet. So he had to repeat it again. He said, I said, my son just died. And that one was forced to say, well, our Father and the Lord said, his son just died. And he said, this son is so dear to me. He said, whenever I'm in London, he handles my laundry, he handles my feeding, he handles, and he just went on and said the last time I was in his hospital bed and he was like, Daddy, you're here, okay, let me call somebody who will do this. He said, no, I just want you to be well. You know. And I picked from that story that can you imagine somebody as big, as powerful as E. Adeboye? This man has millions and millions of followers. But will you believe that such a person, right, could need somebody who just focus on, oh, your laundry, your food? You know, typically in your mind, you just say, oh, he has a lot of followers. You know,
I think,
there will be too many people that will do that for him. But this young man had taken that responsibility years ago and just continued to just serve in that capacity. So when it comes to you serving to be mentored, it doesn't have to be money. Sometimes it could be some simple things, you know, something very simple that you won't even believe exists or is a need in the life of such a mentor. The other version is for you to pay to be mentored. I just returned from Grant Cardon's event. Diamond ticket, $20,000. I paid for next year again, right? So a lot of time people, in fact, I went viral because, you know, he invited me upstage. His event had 4,500 physical people, over 150,000 that registered virtually. So I've gotten so many people say, we saw you on stage, we saw you, you know, Grant, pull you on stage. Yeah. Right? But for my relationship with Grant, it's a relationship where I had to pay to get that level of access, to get that level of, you know, mentorship from him. I had to pay, right? And not small money, good money. But people will wonder, and I remember somebody asking me, say, why, you know, a particular black guy at the event, he said, why do you pay for diamond ticket? Why are you doing this? And I said to him, I said also because of the network. Many people don't know, and I heard TDJ say this to somebody privately. There is a problem with you being rich and you're black. Typically, most places you go, you are the richest person in the room, and everybody wants to draw from you. So what you then need to do, and it's part of what I share in the book, because a lot of us don't even know that there's a need to intentionally invest in going for meetings where you're meeting people as rich as you are and people who are richer than you are. So for me, one of the reasons why I go to that event, aside that it gives me access to Grant Cardon, is also the fact that I'm able to meet very, very wealthy people, right? I meet people that I don't feel, you know, I don't feel scared to say, oh, we did this volume of transaction last year, or we're doing this, because they too, they're just sharing theirs. I met a Nigerian couple, they're doctors, but they, in the whole of southern Florida, they have the largest hospital doing one thing or the other. Big, these guys are big. But I wouldn't be able, and I'm doing real estate in Africa. If I were meeting in the next couple of weeks in Nigeria, and I've been looking for somebody in the medical field that could pioneer the hospital in many of the lands we've bought, because we want to put hospitals in our estate. You see how it's linking?
Yeah.
So suddenly am I at a conference where I'm meeting people who just don't want to build hospital. They already have a major one in America. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who I can easily partner with. So one of the things I share in the book, and it's very important, is that you can only be as wealthy as the friends you have. You can be richer than the quality of friends you have. So I'm challenging all of us today. Make it a commitment that every year you're going to invest in meeting 10 new people who are richer than you do. There's a quote, and you should never forget that quote. It said, poor people go to work, rich people build network. And basically what that quote is saying is that poor people are busy trying to, $40 an hour, $30 an hour, $50 an hour. A rich man, just like I did in the conference I attended last week, is busy trying to meet another rich person who will become a potential partner, a potential investor. Right? That way, he gets richer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you this formula, very powerful formula. And I made mistake for many years about this. Hard work plus smart work. And for many years, I thought that's all I need. I just need to work hard, and then need to be smart. But recently, a few years ago, I realized I was wrong. And I'll break it down. Hard work will earn you a living. Okay? Smart work will get you above being broke. Right?
Say the smart work part again.
Hard work will earn you a living, paycheck to paycheck. Smart work will get you to just be above being broke, just above broke. Right? Smart work. You'll be above being broke. You can make your first $100,000 being smart, your first $1 million being smart. But what many of us don't realize is even in America, being a millionaire does not guarantee you're rich. Does not guarantee financial freedom.
Yeah, that's right.
Even here in America, that's a fact. Right? But smart work can get you into your first $1 million. But guess what? Only network gets you your first $100 million, your first $1 billion. Only network. So what I advise in my formula is hard work plus smart work plus network equals to financial freedom. So you have to add the three together. You have to do the three together. And if you follow me on social media, you see that I do all that. You know, I work hard.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very smart about how I do things.
And you network a lot.
I network a lot. Right? I don't joke about it.
Yeah.
Okay? Again, even though the networking thing started more recently, when I realized that if I continue with just hard work and smart work, before I will ever touch certain kind of money, it's going to take a longer time. And at that point, I realized, you know what? I need to get in the game of investing in meeting wealthy people. Right? Investing in that game. And please let me warn you, wealthy people are the most difficult people to build good relationship with. They will test you. They will test you. They've been through a lot. They suspect everyone. Everyone's a suspect. Right? Everyone's a suspect. They will piss you off. They will test your resolution. I mean, they will check. Why are you here? They will offer you money. They will offer you stuff just to check you out. Right? You know, but at some point, if you earn their trust, oh boy, you will meet the most humble people in your life. Me. I used to believe rich people are arrogant, they are inaccessible, but a few years has humbled me. Humbled me. Humbled me. I mean, you met Chidele Momodu in my office. The other day I had, Dr. Cosmos Maduka, multi-billionaire dollars. Literally came to my office, was there for over 2 hours. Years ago, I write books about these people. I talk about them like you're talking about her colleagues. And today they come sit in my office, they ask me questions, and I'm like, why? Even poor people don't do that. So a lot of rich people are extremely humble. The problem is, they're not just going to do that to everyone. I hope this is helpful.
Yeah.
Right? They're not just going to do it to everyone. So they have to be sure, you are not going to abuse it. You're also at that level mentally. You're at that level, by every means, right? Is this helpful?
Sure.
Okay? So I'm going to stop there on that. Go buy the book, read it, and you get the rest. Okay? The second book I'm going to talk about is called Billionaire Codes. Like I said, it's just the part 2 of the Billionaire Habits. Just the part 2 of it. So, in the part 2 of the Billionaire Codes, I talked about honor code. Again, this was another thing I learned very recently. When I mean recently, I mean 5, 7, 10 years ago. That's my definition of recently, so it doesn't mean yesterday. Okay. But I wish I knew those things more than 5, 7 years ago. I realized, and everybody should note this, you can never be richer than your ability to show honor to people. You can never. In fact, let me say this. What attracts money, real money, is honor and pleasure. The two things that attract real money. And when I say real money, I mean real money. Is honor and pleasure. And I'll give you a basic, simple example, right? When you go to a 1-star or 2-star hotel, right? Aside that the room isn't exceptional, versus a 5-star hotel, what is different? Can anybody give me the answer? Aside, of course, the quality of the room, what else is different?
The amenities, how people treat you.
That's the point. The reception. Am I making sense at all?
Yes.
You hardly get to a 2-star hotel and there is concierge and there's somebody picking your luggage. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Who knows what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no.
Right? You better drag your luggage on your own. Right? You better do everything yourself. Even water, they will just put dispenser there. When you tell them, I need water, say, just point to go there. Your money doesn't qualify to get bottles and say, oh, thank you, sir. Here's your bottle. Do you see the point? So, but when you then come to a 5-star hotel, what are you experiencing? Is that your bag? Leave it, sir. I'll bring it to your room. Right there from outside, the honor level changes. The reception, welcome to Westin Hotel. Thank you for, booking this. Sir, they will even take their time to explain the amenities to you. At this side, we have our swimming pool, we have our this. Who knows what I'm talking about? So, the difference between a 2-star hotel and a 5-star hotel is the honor. So many of us don't even know that the reason we're not charging premium, even in our businesses, is that we've not introduced honor to it. Is this making sense to us? The reason why you're not attracting high-level people, you've not introduced honor to it. I'll give you an example. January, I did a conference here in Houston. And one of my speakers was around. I don't live here, so I don't have a Rolls Royce here. I had to go lease a Rolls Royce because of WeWorks. And with the driver of the Rolls Royce, go to the airport to pick him up. Honor. I had to make sure he lodged, he loved, what's his name? What's the name of this hotel now? Is it Six Sense or was that name? No. St. Regis. St. Regis is among the top most class when it comes to Marriott hotels, right? So everything had to be world class for this particular man. Am I making sense at all? Because that's who he is. And what did I get in return? Oh boy, I met some powerful people who are Nigerians who are extremely rich here in Houston through this man. Extremely rich. I mean, you won't believe it. Guys who own nightclubs and will show you, open their account and say, well, today we just made $250,000 tonight. One night. $250,000 in income. Okay? Are we learning here? Okay? But such people, and that's what I'm learning, right? What we don't know is that at the poor level, we don't know this. We actually lack honor. It's now that I'm beginning to realize it. And the excuse we give is that, oh, it's too expensive to do that. Oh, it's too expensive to do that. Oh, for me to do, no, that's too expensive. I can't pay for it. I can't afford this. Now, I'm not asking you to go all about honoring and spending a lot of money and getting Rolls Royce for everybody. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's that you need to begin to analyze and understand who people are and what level they are, and based on their level, you show them the required honor to allow them to be willing to keep you in their lives. Because now they know, you know how to treat them. You know how to value them. You're not going to take that relationship for granted. Does this make sense at all?
Yes.
So please, I want to beg you, learn how to do this. Even with your spouse, right? Even with your spouse. Even with your family members. Even with your loved ones. Learn how to do that. My wife, would tell you I'm the king of that. Right? I'm the king of showing honor to and it's not just about, even my children. That the other time they were coming to London to join me, and my wife knows how busy I am. I had to surprise them, got roses, wait at the airport for their arrival, and she knows what I mean. She was so happy. Because she knows that I'm busy. I'm busy. That's not something I do all the time. Okay? But what am I trying to show there? I honor you, my wife. I honor you, my children. Right? So it's important to start it going forward. Start it and start at your level. Honor is not about everything too expensive. Just a gesture to show you respect, you love, you care, you cherish. Something Sharon did, which was really, really, really honorable. I got to my office. She's here, and then she has this bunch of hamper. Thank you for that, by the way. That's honor. Right, and I felt, I really felt honored by that. Right, I really felt honored by that. And she got this hamper. I remember taking to my house and I took the picture, sent to my wife. Said, "Who sent this to you?" I said, "She's this woman." She said, "Wow, that's kind of her." Right. So you can see it's not about the money. It's just showing that, hey, you're important. I cherish you. I respect you. I'm grateful. So I hardly go to meet any of my mentors empty-handed. I've never done it. Whether it's Obasanjo, whether it's Dr. Cosmos Maduka, whether it's, I don't do it. Right? I don't do it. Not because they need it. There's nothing I do that they need. But it's just to say, hey, it's a way of saying, that you allowed me to come see you today.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it for granted.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I appreciate that you did that. I appreciate the open doors. I appreciate the access. Right? A lot of people have given them access to my life. They mess it up. I just close it. It's my life. It's my life. I don't have two. I have one. And you just abused it. Gone. Bye. Okay. Is this good?
Yeah. Super. We talked about honor and pleasure. What about the pleasure part of that?
The pleasure It's just create an unusual experience for people.
Oh,
An experience they can't shake off.
okay.
Right? Memories. So I'll give you an example. The diamond ticket at 10X were entitled to it's called the Diamond Party. And first day they brought Buster Rhymes. The second day they brought White Club John. Yeah. And oh boy, the White Club John was exceptional. In fact, himself and Grant jumped into the swimming pool.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a blast. Really, it was just a blast. And the fun was just unique. That's pleasure.
Okay.
That's pleasure. Now, I can shake off that. I'm wondering who will come next year. I don't always throw parties. I can wake up one day and say, why can't John come do party for me now? Yeah. So people will pay more for pleasure. Okay. Whatever creates pleasure for them, they will pay more for it.
Okay.
Right? If you notice, with so many people, haven't you noticed how much people pay for Super Bowl ticket? How much they pay for flights and hotel? And the same people will tell you, oh, I can afford that. Oh, I'm broke. But yet, they're going to spend over $2,000 to go for a Super Bowl. They're going to spend $5,000 to go to Las Vegas. Yet, these people are still complaining, I'm broke. Right? But they will pay more. They will even take a loan for anything that will give them pleasure. So you have to find a way to build something that creates a lot of pleasure. The more the pleasure, the more people are willing to pay you, the more people are willing to respond to what you're doing. We have a group of people who sell real estate for us. We call it G-Techs and Associates. So last week, the team decided to do a train ride. By the way, train is luxury in Nigeria. Right, up until just a few years ago, we practically didn't have any train run in Nigeria. So now we have some good trains, beautiful, but not everybody take it every day. So we decided to do a train trip, to two of our estates in Ibadan, from Lagos to Ibadan. We're expecting 100, property agents. We got, I think, over 200 or so. It was, in fact, we never planned for that crowd. It was huge. But guess what? Why did more than 100 people show up? The pleasure of taking a train. Right? The memories that's going to, be formed. Yeah. So more people were excited about that. So your business, your relationship with people, you have to be thinking of how do I create an experience that creates pleasure? How do I create an experience for people that makes them have fun? I mean, we talked about children who are from, your son is here, who are from Africa. One of the things we notice, and the doctors are beginning to recommend it, is that the kids who are born in Africa, after a few years here, their excitement begins to go down. And recently, it was discovered that the sunlight in Africa, and maybe you noticed that, gives the African vitamin D. Okay, that helps, creates, boost excitement. And so when they come here, they don't get enough of that sunlight. And gradually they begin to get depressed. You can relate to it.
They don't go out, children don't get barefoot and go out walking. Walk in the grass.
You see why I can't raise my kids in the U.S.
And like she said earlier, she moved from Ohio down here because it's a lot warmer climate.
Yeah.
I came from Chicago, a lot of snow.
Mm-hmm.
She came from Philadelphia, so
yeah,
we understand.
Yeah, so now the doctors are beginning to realize it. So now when you go to hospital, they just give you vitamin D. Because they are learning now that, and there was no research until just a few years ago that, if they are black, you know, they need vitamin D to keep them excited and you know, because we used to even brag in Nigeria, you know, years ago that a black man can commit suicide. You know, and now there's so much of suicide going on, even whether in diaspora or back at home, and it's because we don't know that the air conditioning, the cars, you know, we don't get enough sunlight to come in. But back to the conversation, pleasure. Kids want pleasure, right? And it's good for their health, okay? And everyone wants it. So the third book is called Billionaire Habits for Entrepreneurs. So each of the book goes for $47 on Amazon, but I think we allow you all to be able to take it for $25 each. Yeah. So, but if you're taking the entire 5, you can take it for $100. So, Billionaire Habits for Entrepreneurs talk about. So here I realized that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle to scale their business, right? And I'm talking about, let's say your business is doing $1 million. How do I scale it to 10? How do I scale it to 20 million? And part of the reason is that people do not even know the crisis that growth brings. I call it the pain of growth. The pain of growth. We got talking about this yesterday. You know, you and your husband remember when we were talking about pastors who are having challenges, you know, and we got talking, and you were mentioning a particular pastor has like 2-3 court cases, you know, and I was sharing with you how we don't know that those are normal with growth, right? And so if you are not at their level, you don't know what they're going through. So when you hear, because how many people follow you? How many people are you leading? So when you hear that somebody got a lawsuit, you are wondering like, how? I never got a lawsuit. But guess what? You never pastor a church of 20,000 people. You see the problem now? Okay, so you're a businessman, and let's say you only have 5 employees. It's like a family business you're running. Do you see the point? And you're like, oh, that other guy, he's a billionaire, but he has 100 lawsuits. Yeah, he will have 100 lawsuits. Guess what? He probably have more than 100,000 customers. He probably have more than 500 employees. It's not the same with you that have 5 employees. I never had a single court case in my life as an entrepreneur for my first 10 years in business. Never. Right? Never really started having a case of employees sabotaging my business until we started having employees in their hundreds. Do you see the point now? So the smaller the business, the lesser the headache. The bigger the business, the bigger the headache. And unfortunately, nobody teaches a lot of us all of this. So when we start hearing stuff, we think they are the problem. And that's why I said this, Africa lack heroes because we don't celebrate them when they are alive until they are dead. Once they are dead, we say, oh, he's a hero. When Martin Luther King was alive, how many people really care? What we were hearing is that, oh, he's cheating on his wife. Yeah, I had a side chick somewhere. Reverend has a child chick. Right? That's what everybody was talking about. Today now, oh, Martin Luther King. But what were you guys talking about when he was alive? Yeah, I like that you're pointing. He looks like he was around when Martin Luther King was How old were you when it was? How old were you when Martin Luther King died?
Passed away? What year did he pass?
I don't even know. You are not sure?
No, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been to the grave site.
Yeah, but maybe somebody will Google it.
Yeah, I'm a Google it.
Yeah.
Serious.
But the truth is that he wasn't like that of a hero until he died.
Exactly.
Let's face this fact. You know, 1968.
68.
Yeah. So you
We
were
probably born in 56.
so maybe you were 4 or 5.
No, no.
Died in 19.
So you were like
13.
13. So you were old enough, right? And you can imagine he doesn't even recall Martin Luther King. That's how famous Martin Luther King was
I recall
when he was alive.
Yes, I recall. Yeah.
My point is, it wasn't that much a
Yeah, I
big
remember
deal.
when King was killed, and
But before he
also-
was killed,
also King.
my point is, before he was killed, he wasn't much of a memory to you. You see what I'm talking about? So we lack heroes when they are alive. And the reason is because we don't even know they're heroes. We're busy bothered about what this person said about them,
Yeah.
what that person said about them. They gossip here, they gossip there, without facing the reality that this is a great man, this is a great woman. So when they are dead, now we're looking for a scapegoat. She killed him, he killed him. But when the guy was alive, what happened? So in this book, The Billionaire Habits for Entrepreneurs, I shared about the pain of growth. What you need to expect. One of the things I talked about in this book is you need to budget for war. Yes. You need to budget for war. You don't wait for war to come, and then at that point you now say, how do I do stuff? What do I do? I've not even opened my office in Houston. I already have 4 lawyers already. And I'm adding 6 more. Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can ask. You can ask.
Why so many? Do they all operate different functions?
Yeah, so in America, I mean, the American legal system is so specific. So now I have a lawyer that handles real estate transaction, have a lawyer that handle a fund, with SEC, the Security Exchange. Now I'm getting a lawyer for trust, setting up a trust. I definitely have to get a criminal lawyer. I need another lawyer for EB5 and a couple of stuff. I need I have 2 lawyers for immigration already. Okay, I could go on and on and on.
I get it.
Right. So, but you need to prepare for war. Business is not fun. A lot of us don't know that it's another thing to make money, it's another thing to keep it.
Yeah.
To keep money, you have to have people who are ready to fight those who want to take the money from you. And trust me, the richer you get, a lot of people want to take it from you. And they also, those who are trying to take money from you, have enough resources to make sure they take money from you, and you don't even stand a chance of being able to even hold them accountable. Right. So it's a serious business, but a lot of people don't even get it.
So that's kind of like what Donald Trump is?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's what Donald Trump
All
is.
of his money.
Yeah, it's another thing because you have an employee today looking up to you and say you're a good man, you're a nice person. Tomorrow the same employee say I'm suing his ass just because somebody say, oh, you could sue him and you're gonna make $1 million. You've been broke all your life. I can assure you I can get you $1 million out of that guy.
Yeah. Some lawyers are like that.
And suddenly the person you call family is coming after you. really, really after you. Yeah, really. And the painful thing about America is that what do they call them now? Is it liability lawyers or what do they call them? Lawyers that go after claims. There's a name for them. Lawyers who just go after claim, there's a name. But the painful thing about those lawyers, they don't even charge you a penny. They only charge you a percentage of what they recover. You see the problem now? So I can just want to sue just for fun. Right? I have nothing to lose. After all, the law firm is willing to start the trouble. Whether I win or not, I have nothing to lose. So it can be really, really funny. Tyler Perry was sharing with us how one of his movies, and because Grant Cardone asked him, he said, so if I have a story and and I want I need you to do a movie on my story, and Grant has a lot of that. And so how do I get you? He said, you don't get to me. you can't even get to me. And he was explaining that now you have to get to somebody that gets to somebody that gets to somebody that gets somebody that then brings it to me. They're like 5 gatekeepers, right, with Tyler Perry. And he had to say, he said, look, I had to learn from experience. Because one of his movies, a lady took him to court and claimed that she was the owner of the script, and Tyler Perry decided to do, and those were days where, people just say, I have an idea, and then let me just share with you, I have a script, then you share, and then they later say, oh, I shared this script with him, that movie was the script I shared. So he said every week he had to fly down to the States where that issue was lodged in the inn, and he was going to court every day. And he won that case because he needed, he had to show people that, look, I'm a good man, but if you come after me, I'm going to deal with you. Right? So it's important to know that a lot of things about business that a lot of us who are admiring, who want to go bigger, you need to read this because it prepares you for what's to come when you come to entrepreneurship. That's your pinpoint. Okay, no problem. So, the next book is called Becoming a Billionaire Land Banker, How I Built My Multi-Billion Real Estate Empire from Zero Up. Now, this is a book for a lot of you who want to do real estate. I've mastered the art of land banking to a point where I know the right land to buy. I know how I can add value to any land, whether in America or in Asia or in Africa, it doesn't matter where. I know the right land. And here we talked a lot about what are the signs that a land will appreciate in value? What are the things to look out for? I'm investing now in America intentionally now because there's high interest rate. Everybody thinks this is a bad time to do real estate. But when they zag, you have to go the opposite direction. Why? You buy real estate right now, the sellers are desperate and they will, do anything for you. You try to buy real estate when the interest rate is low, you're going to pay higher, extremely high. So a particular property, for example, that, second property we're going to work on. During COVID, this property was going for about $1.something million. It's a 19-acre property in Richmond. But guess what? Because of COVID, the seller eventually sold it for $750,000. Right? $750,000 from 1.3 million. Okay? So, And that's how rich people get richer.
Yeah.
Don't buy it when everybody's buying. It's wrong. Buy it when they're scared. When everybody's saying there's blood in the water.
Inflation.
There's recession coming. That's when you say, oh yeah, let's jump in. And everybody says it's crazy. He's a fool. But we'll soon know who's the fool. At the end of the day, we'll soon know, don't worry. Another beautiful thing I was sharing, what is one of the reasons why we're aggressively expanding now, is that developers have stopped construction since last year because of the high interest rate. Right? Many of them will get back to site maybe 2025, because again 2024 is a lot of elections. Even a good period of 2025 is a new government. They probably will be looking for how to settle things down. So officially 2026, everybody's back into construction. By that time, I can assure you, interest rate will be probably very, very low. You probably begin to get that 6%, 7%, or even lower. But guess what? At that point, there will be deficit of new houses in America. So you were constructing from 2023 down to 2026, you have the new house. I guess how much you're selling it? Very high. Because now there's huge deficit of new houses. Make sense?
Yeah.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Right? So a lot of my secret, and I share a lot of my mentors as well, how they're doing land banking, what the factors, what are the secrets to, how do you know the right land to buy, why to buy it, when to buy it, and how do you keep the land, how do you add value to the land, so that, how do you leverage on water? So for me now, if a land has water, it's an opportunity for me to get premium on that land. So the Katy property has a pond, I'm converting to a lake. Let me see if I can play the video so you can see how I'm taking advantage of just a bare land. And by the time I'm done adding value to the land, I expect to have 100% capital appreciation. That's my goal from just this particular piece of real estate. Let me see if I can go back. This is my YouTube channel. I encourage you to go there. I have tons and tons of content on my channel. Really lots of good content. The problem is sometimes I have too many good content. So it becomes difficult to search. Let me see now. How do I get to the page? What do I press? How do I get to the first video?
The first video. I think you need to click on your page.
That one right there?
That's not the first. I'm wondering if that's the
Depends
first.
on the title.
Okay.
It goes with the title.
This is it. This one. Thank you. So this is what was. You can see the land, their land.
Okay.
This is how it looks right now.
This is the news.
Yes, it's Katy. Right?
And Katy is a very
Yeah.
good.
Katy is the highest school district.
Yeah.
So we're going to be putting more.
Rent is higher there.
We're putting more. We're putting a clinic. It's a 5 to 10 year project. You can see the lake. You see how converting that lake to it's a pond rather, converting to a lake. We're putting an aquarium on it as well. Then we'll have a driving range. You can just shoot, golf balls. It's school. Now what I'm leveraging on is that beside the land is a high school. It's opening next year. Now you're having thousands of kids come there. The parents now want to move to the neighborhood. You know, they want to move to the neighborhood of where the land is. So, but how we conceptualize a lot of these things, you know, are in the book. So sometimes people wonder why I'm quite bold. Knowledge is, you know, knowledge will make you bold. Some people call boldness arrogance, but whatever you call it. But when you're knowledgeable about something, you know it. It gives you a lot of courage and confidence to dare certain things, right? So, but the knowledge will come from getting the right information.
I think you're not only bold.
Yeah?
You're audacious.
Yes.
You are audacious.
People say so. Funny enough, I'm not sure I am, but so they say. You know, honestly, it comes natural to me. It comes natural to me, and I think the reason why it comes natural is because I sit with people who've done it. You know, yes, and you know, I was sharing with somebody. I said, because when Grant said, "Why did you come all the way from Lagos for me?" I just said, "I can't have enough of you." And what I meant by that word is that I only feel normal around people like Grant, right? Everybody else thinks I'm crazy. Everybody thinks but when I'm around Grant, it's like I'm not even chewing enough. It's like I'm not even trying.
Yeah, like
you know, I then feel normal. Like, okay, yeah, we can do this. Let's do more. Let's go for it. This is what I'm created for. But outside of that, if I was I think the guy's chewing too much. I think the guy is this. Are you sure? I think. Oh, you know, all those side talks.
yeah.
You know, so the last but not the least is called Billionaire Habits for Pastors. So I encourage you to buy it for your pastor. Very, very important, be helpful. I shared about 20 businesses pastors can do. Yes, you know, that doesn't affect their ministries. I realized that one of the, you know, we talked about that yesterday, religious leaders. I think the reason why many of them behave that way is because they are at the mercy of church members. And, you know, they need money from church members. They need, many of them haven't built wealth organically. They haven't worked and invested in building wealth for themselves.
And for the congregation.
You said?
And for the congregation.
Well, they need to do it for themselves first. You can't give what you don't have.
True.
You know, you can teach a congregation how to make money when you yourself, you're not making money. When you yourself don't know how to make money. When you yourself don't understand the principles. You will even see a church member doing well and you say you're going to hell. You stop coming to church. You've been going on all this damn business trips and, you know, heaven is more important.
Yeah.
You're going to hell. You know, so a lot of our religious leaders are that way, and in reality they're just frustrated because now you're not in church, you haven't been, what they mean is you've not been paying your tithes and offerings. But if the pastor knows how to make money legitimate, right now he doesn't need to, you know, take advantage of church members. He doesn't need to exploit, you know, them. He doesn't need to, you know, use them. And so for me, I encourage, please get this for your pastor. It's going to help him in a great way. I happen to have a pastor who is a billionaire. Forbes says he's the richest pastor in the world. His name is Bishop David Oyedepo. And he inspired me to go for wealth, because if you're a pastor, they say he has 4 private jets, and he's a pastor. You that you're an entrepreneur,
You should have more.
you have license, you know, to dream big. And if I didn't have such a pastor, I wouldn't be here. I can assure you. I would have thought, you know, making money is a sin. You know, and I came from a very conservative Christian value before I joined the church. If I didn't want to join the church because they told me it's all about money, money doesn't teach you about heaven, you know, so I said, I'm not going to that church. I want to go to heaven. So I then stayed with a family who attend the church, and they insisted that if I'm in their house, I have to go to the church. Only for me to go to the church, and then they were teaching about holiness. All through the first month, the second month, I felt like, am I in another church? Is something wrong here? What people told me is that this guy only preach about money, prosperity all the time. So that's how I joined the church. But I then was able to have a balance of living a good life at the same time, building wealth all night and being useful while you're not. So I think my father was also a prophet from the CIS, and I saw us, being poor. And when I asked my dad, why are we poor? He said, God called him. And because God called him, he couldn't do business. And that's why we're poor. So you can see that this book is so dear to me. In fact, I remember I had to make the download free. We had over 2,000 pastors who downloaded it for free when it came out. This was a passion project for me. It wasn't about money. I saw what my dad, not owning a business, not going after the entrepreneurship, what it did to us, how we grew up very poor. And my dad, for me, is the most intelligent human being I've ever seen. My dad knows how to recite the Bible offhand. Do you know anybody like that?
My mother.
Your mom.
I used to call her
Walking guy.
because I kind of went the Islamic way, right?
Okay.
And she couldn't understand that, so we call each other every week, and we'd have our debates. I debate her from the Quran, she verbatim, and then whenever I had a challenge with something I didn't know from the Bible, I get on the phone, call Mama, hey Mama, something in the Bible. She quotes.
Right there. Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I enjoyed a dad who really, really knew the Bible, but I also needed a provider, and I didn't find that. So I had to, so it was important to share this. And I also almost became like that. But I do a pastor for like 16 years. And I had to say to myself, I need to prioritize making money and taking care of my family.
So how were you able to balance that?
I was poor all throughout the time I pastored. That's why I resigned. I'm a retired pastor.
And I was always told that I was going to be a pastor.
Who knows? You might still be a pastor. Who knows?
Yeah, but I definitely want to read this book.
Okay.
I can't see, I listen to a lot of ministries and go, I read the Bible from cover to cover every week, just like I read the Quran cover to cover. And I could never see myself being in a pulpit, rehearsing other people's sins, and not dealing with my own.
Yeah,
first.
that's true.
And then, like you said, how can I? Because I would be prosperity, but I have to be prosperous
before I absolutely. Absolutely, I agree with you absolutely.
So I have a question.
Please, now it's question time. Come on.
So,
Did I try or not?
You did great. That was
Okay.
great. Thank you.
So we have, Instagram audience. So let's say hello to them.
Hey.
Okay, so you guys can ask questions as well. Please, it's question time. So go ahead with your question.
So my question is, we are such givers, and we tend to give more than we receive. How do we balance that? And then my beautiful husband, he's like, no, you should never charge for that, or that's too much, or so we need help in that area.
Okay. Well, my advice is if you pay $20,000 for a 3-day seminar, I promise you will be delivered from that problem.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. So what I notice is that I'm like that. I lose my mindset. I lose my my weakness for charging anytime I also go pay somebody else. because what it does to me, like, I have paid this person, yes, I got value, but it wasn't as if what I'm delivering as well isn't as valuable as what I paid this person. So why are others not paying me? Right? So I become more confident to charge people when I also pay other people. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is, and that's what I do actually, get a coach, pay for that coaching. It could be, you said, my monetization coach. I need to be my coach just to make sure you hold me accountable to charge for what I do. And I can do that. But what that does for you is when you then know that every month I gotta pay this person, now there's no way I'm not also gonna charge those that I'm giving to. And when they keep giving me excuses, I can say, hey, but look, this guy, I've paid him X much. So for me, when people come to me with those attitude of, well, God bless you, and I say, look, do you know Grant Cardone? I paid Grant Cardone over $200,000 a man. One man. Right? So when I talk like that, you see all my audience keep quiet. And I'm like, okay, I better go pay the 1,000 he asked me to pay. Because, he's paid a lot. So oftentimes that's the way to overcome that. Once you have somebody that is in your life, you're paying the person is also holding you accountable to monetize your giftings. And you also, you kind of have that moral right, like, I've paid us as well for what I'm getting. I need to charge. It's just fair to do that. Even if, I'm charging so that I have enough money to keep paying my own bills as well with my mentor. But it holds you, accountable.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, any more questions? If you have question on Instagram, please just type your question and I'll try and answer it. Yes?
Well, mine is not much of a question initially.
Okay.
Just to first appreciate you. I've been a silent observer of you for quite
You're many
now, 5 years now.
A lot of
So I would say you're not a mentor, but you are, what's it called? You described it yesterday. When you're not having one-on-one relationship with somebody.
Yes.
A
role model.
A role model.
Yes.
You're a role model.
Yes.
At first,
What's the word?
a role model.
Role model. Role
You know,
model.
You're modeling someone.
Yeah.
You're modeling yourself to someone.
You first caught my fancy when you described parable of Chinese bamboo. Say, wow. And that was when I started following you. And I think I've followed you quite a bit up till yesterday. I found out you'll be here. All right. So I've learned quite a lot from you.
Thank you.
And I think we also had a part somewhere that just became known to me now through Bishop Oyedepo.
Oh, okay.
I used to attend meetings 95 up to 2001 or thereabouts.
Okay.
And I think it was 2003.
Yeah.
That was the last time I went to Winners Chapel. Bishop said, God will give you an idea that you pray. That you pray that God should give you an idea that will, make you relevant to your generation. And that changed a lot about me.
Wow.
Okay, I'm not worthy, but I have billionaire's mentality. I'm not sure I have so much in my bank account, but I have a mindset, that, it may not come now, but it's going to come. When God promises you that seek you first the kingdom of God, righteousness, another thing that I do today. God has not promised anybody that every other thing that gets to you when you're alive.
Immediately.
You know, your seed is you. Okay? Your seed is you. Okay? That's very reason. So if God has not added everything now, I'm just going to hide it. Somewhere down the line, I'm gone. But we still do it.
But He will do it while you're alive. I believe that. Who believes that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I believe it.
He will do it while you're alive.
I believe it.
I think my argument is that it's not even about God, it's always about us. Right? Because God is always ready when we're ready.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the missing link is even some of what we're sharing here. Because I learned a lot of this thing from white people. I didn't learn it from black people. A lot of black rich people don't write books. Dangote doesn't have a book, you know. Otedola doesn't have a book. Akintayo doesn't have a book. Akintayo has books on prayers, but no book on these were the steps I took to become rich. Right? So a lot of African wealthy people don't write books. And that's why we lose all this knowledge, this information. So most of this I learned from white people. I try, and then some maybe I learned from one-on-one conversation with other black rich people. But I practiced them, it worked for me, and I realized that it's the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire. It's the difference between 1,000 here and a millionaire. It's just these little dots that we just, so it's not really much of God, right? I see people say, even on social media, one person was chatting yesterday, he said, oh, all that I see around you is just grace, it's grace. There are a lot of people who do what you do, but they don't enjoy the same result. And I replied him, I said, I disagree with you. Grace was given to everyone on the cross of Calvary. Jesus came to die to release the grace. That's why he died on the cross. So grace is available for everyone. The problem is we haven't activated the grace. You see the issue? So if you don't activate the grace, then you make it useless. But if you activate the grace, it works for you. It's as simple as that. There is a group of real estate investors that Grant Cardone has. It's called the Real Estate Club. To join is $26,000 per year. Right? It's up to you whether you want to join or not. But I can assure you, join such group, you're meeting guys who have $100,000 loose funds, $200,000 loose funds, $500,000 loose funds, $1 million loose funds. That if you show them a good deal, they are going to invest. So imagine you now saying, oh, I have all these good deals, but I don't have anybody. Sir, you didn't take the risk to go join a real estate club where you're going to meet people who can afford to sponsor your deal. It's just that. It's not God. It's your own decision. 5 years down the line, I told you I met these two, doctors. 5 years, 10 years down the line, somebody will see us building hospitals in our estates in Nigeria, and then he's going to say it's grace. Right? But he forgot I intentionally flew from Lagos, went to Florida, paid $20,000 when I could have paid $2,000 to get a regular ticket. You see the intentionality? Right? And in that, I wasn't sure who I would meet, but I met some people there, and then 5-10 years down the line, this is what that relationship created. But I promise you, somebody will still look at it and say, no, he's grace, man. That guy, grace.
Lucky.
Grace. So I think that, and that's what, as you guys read through the book, what it opens us up to is the awareness that the grace is there. The opportunity is there. I just need to take it. I just need to now recognize it. I just need to seize it.
Well, probably we should change that word. Instead of grace, say spirit. Because the spirit is in you.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
And that's where most of us fall short. We're looking at in the sky instead of looking inside.
British. No, they say you're gonna be a pastor anyway. You preaching already. Oh, that's a good sermon. Are you done with your work?
Yes, and I was going to ask a question.
Yes, please.
Which is what inspires you?
What inspires me? Good question. Good question. Will I say, funny enough, I think the question is what, I don't want to say what doesn't inspire me. I want to say what is chasing me.
You know why I didn't ask what is chasing?
Yes.
Because you already answered that question in the interview you granted with Pastor Lumide.
Okay.
On this pastors,
Learn how to
you answered that question.
Okay.
You talked about your dad. You talked about okay.
But that's what inspires me, because a lot of time we think it's really more of all the time, I want to be this, I want to be that. For me, it's I don't want to be this. That's what inspires me. Is that I don't want to be my dad. I don't want to grow up waiting for my children to feed me. No. I don't want to be this intelligent and not taking a risk. Because my dad, like I said, is one of the smartest human beings I've ever met. But he just wouldn't take risk. He took in his early days and he had issues. Some of his issues were even spiritual. He couldn't sleep. He was seeing demons. So he went through a lot. And so those were the reasons why he now became, in those days we didn't have all these winners. It was the equivalent of Pentecostal movement in Nigeria was CIS. They were the ones who operated the gift of the Spirit. They could see prophecies. So he got his deliverance. In fact, he picked up his reading ethics through that because he couldn't sleep in the night. So he had to start reading in the night time. Right. But what I saw that did was turn him to an encyclopedia of knowledge that is never used. Right. Has so much wisdom, knows so much, but attempts so little. So I made up my mind, I don't care how many times I fail. It's about how many times can I get up. So I'm going to keep trying. And that's why people say I'm fearless, I'm courageous. It's just that, look, I don't care if I fail. My definition of failure is that the more I fail, the closer I am to success. Right? On your way to success, there is failure boulevard. That's, for me, how I see it. So when I fail and you're mocking me, I'm like, I'm closer. I'm closer. I'm closer to success, because failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is on the pathway to success. You will fail. Everybody who made it has failed. Kept failing. That's why we call it fail forward. Fail forward. Pick the lessons from it, move on. So when people wonder why I'm this inspired, is that I saw that my dad failed. But he allowed himself to just say, hey, well, I'm okay. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. If I keep failing, I keep getting back up. One road is blocked, I open another one. Before you even try to block one road, let me open 10 and let's see how many you can block. Right? So for me, I understand challenges entrepreneurs, for example, go through in Africa, growing business in Africa. And before I ever get to a point where a particular government doesn't like my face and they're coming after my business, well, you can try in Nigeria, okay? But even in Nigeria, you can try in one state. You can't try in 10 states. Do you see now? Even if you not try in Nigeria, but I'm also in Dubai. You don't like me in Dubai, but I'm in US. So I just, so I picked that from my dad. It's just saying, give it all. Try multiple. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I want to encourage all of us, let's not look at it from just the price that we're getting. What we will lose if we don't do it? Sometimes that gives us better inspiration than even some price that we're hoping to get. It's just, I don't want to. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Maybe that's the reason I'm here to ask you this question. I don't want to ask when is he, how heavy she wants to start dreaming of becoming a billionaire.
Yeah.
But when is it too late to start dreaming of becoming a
A
billionaire?
billionaire? Well, my answer would be the story of Colonel Sanders, who started KFC. So he was, this worker. Everybody kept telling him he has a unique chicken, he knows how to fry chicken, just normal fried chicken. They love the chicken. And he kept working, and at some point, got $100. Then said, well, let me try it, and just try it commercially. I started doing it with family members. Today, you know how big KFC is. The answer to that is that there is no time too late to dream big. Abraham, people have forgotten, was still squatting with his father and mother at 75, leaving his father's house. What a shame. Maybe that's why he didn't even want to have children early. Who knows? He just was okay with it. Because if you start having children too early, where is he going to put them? Because he was living in his father's house. Right? At 75, God had to say, come on, Abraham. Come on. Come on. At what? How long? How long? Get out of this father's house. Get out. And today, everybody, Abraham, Father Abraham, the Muslims, Abraham. Most people don't know. The three major religions are laying claim to the same Abraham. Jews, Abraham. Christians, Abraham. Islam, Abraham. The same guy who wouldn't get his shit together until 75.
But that was young.
Huh?
He was young, though.
No, 75
Because
was.
you got to realize. Now let's go back to
Remember.
back then. They lived a lot longer.
No. That's the mistake. David lived how long? David.
I have to look.
Please Google it. How long? If not even 75.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
from a biblical perspective, they used to live a lot longer than,
You don't get it.
200 or 300 years.
My point is David was of that time too.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
But David still died at 80. My point is, it wasn't like a guarantee. Yes.
Right. Oh, okay.
There were people who lived long that time.
Right.
And there were also people who died early at that time as well.
True.
Jesus.
Jesus, for example. How old was David when he died?
Yeah.
70.
70. So you see?
Okay.
So Abraham was older than David
Yes.
when he left his father's house. And they're all of the same age period. So what we're trying to establish was that Abraham didn't start early.
True.
David started early.
True.
I mean, if you check the scripture, David started at the age of 17, 18. Right? Abraham decided not to start early. Started at 75.
He reigned for 40 years.
Yeah. And David reigned for 40 years.
Yeah, David reigned for 40 years.
Yeah. And died at 70. So, even, so you see what we're talking about. You can never, and I think that's the mistake. And I see this a lot with Africans. The only people I see talk this way are Africans. Grant Cardone is 65 years. Right? You need to see him grant interviews. One of the guys he interviewed is 80. The man is hoping to, he's now $4 billion. He's telling us how his next deal will bring about, that's the guy at 80. The next deal will bring him $10 billion. And Grant Cardone beside those people is like a boy learning from a master. That's what he says. Then you will meet an African who is in his 50s and he's saying, you know, guys, it's like I'm coming to my end.
Yeah, don't want to come.
You know,
All
I
the
think
fights.
I fought the fight, man. We're old, man. And I'm like, come on. Come on. And it's the thing with we Africans. Right? Look at how Donald Trump is talking as if he has another 100 years to go. That we gotta fight, man. You know, sleepy Joe Biden, young Donald Trump. A lot of people don't even know that the age difference between Donald Trump and Biden is like 4 years old. This guy's like, but he talks like he's some young guy. Like, come on, let's do. Same thing with the Joe Biden. He falls like, say, now my brain is sharp. Who says that I'm an old man? I have a brain. The brain went to Iraq. So, but you see a black man, he's like, well, you know, we're old now. We need to stop that nonsense.
Yeah.
We need to. And whatever we need to do to stop it, because sometimes it's the family members, sometimes the people around us, you know, they call us Papa too early, you know, Papa. And then you just start feeling like Papa.
Yeah. Not wearing the clothes.
Yeah. You know, so, and age is, it's just a number when you're mine. And that's what I see with Trump. Trump has a young mind. The guy is on TikTok. He, you know, he's ready to do TikTok.
It resonates from him like this.
You know, he's trying to talk like he's young, like, and so it's a mindset. And you could see it in his body as well.
Yeah.
Right, but my argument is I sit with all these rich white guys, man, they don't talk being old. You know, they don't. And guess another thing I notice, when I talk with rich people, they don't talk like they're about to die. I met a guy, he's been doing $20 billion annual transaction. He's Nigerian since 2011. He's 65. I'll be hosting my conference this month. And he told me, he said he told his son, because his son, he made sure his son went to work in the bank to learn financial lessons. Now he's sending the son to the field to go and learn how to trade commodities. And then the son will now resume in his own office. And he told the son, he said, look at this chair. It's the CEO chair. That's my chair. I'm not about to give it to you. You have to go and work from the junior, as a junior staff, and work your way up at 65. Right? At 65. But you meet a poor 65-year-old, it's like, you know, well, we don't know how many years more we have. You know, we gotta go, you know. So, it's also a poverty mentality. When you have enough money, you don't want to live at 65, trust me. You don't even think at 65, you just feel like, come on, we're just starting, man.
Yeah.
We're just going. Look at former President Olusegun Obasanjo. That man is not even thinking like, you know, he jogs.
Recently jumped from the stage. Yeah.
He's 87. He will jump from a big stage. 87. He's always going to the gym. He wants to always show you he has the energy. He has the muscle. Really bad. But that's the point. When you're successful, you even want to show people you are not dying soon. And I think we need to start working on that mindset. So it's not, you're just starting. You just started. I watched a white dude on CNBC 2 days ago, 3 days ago. The man is 89. And he was telling us, you know, I told you I'm going to live till over 100. I said, yeah. I said, we're ready to your book. Right. And you could see that he means it. He's like 89 or so, and he was on the CNBC grant interview talking about business. In fact, his new business, guess what? Is that in the next few years, the world will have a crisis of having too many old people. How do we give them work to do? Which is true. Because when you look at medicine, it's allowing people to live longer now. And so we're about going back to the Bible days, right? So the question is, what will they be doing? Because now people are living longer. Meanwhile, the job market said they have to retire at 60, 65. So what will they do in their 70s? What will they do in their 80s? If they are not business owners. So he's starting a whole movement around how do we create jobs. You know, and it's true because the baby boomers will be the largest older generation in the history of the world. Yes, particularly in countries like America. Remember, the younger ones are now having kids like that generation. So if you're not careful, you probably even have a higher population of older people and a smaller population of younger people.
Wow.
Yeah. So what happened to those people? And medical expertise is allowing them to live longer. So how do we get them to do something? Any question?
It's not a question, it's just an addition to something you said on your, I think the second book about honoring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, that goes down a long way. If you have not experienced that or if you have not been doing it, I think it is something that we should tap in on it. It's very, very essential.
Yeah.
It is very, very essential. And that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might not know, and coming here and giving somebody this bottle of water doesn't mean he cannot afford the water. Yeah, it's just showing that he will appreciate the time.
Yeah.
The time together, So that goes a very, very long way. And when you said it, it happens unconsciously in your mind. So now, for me, it's now like an important thing to do. A thing close to the heart that, for you to make this part, you have to go through this. So that's just something I took in and like. And thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So if you're getting the book,
I have a question.
yes, if you're getting the book, she is in charge of the book.
Okay.
I'll be signing it for you, and we'll take pictures. So I'll take your question. I think there's one here also. So let me take yours.
Okay, so you said that you were very poor when you were a pastor. I have seen this trend with us Christians.
You know that because you were my secretary.
Of course, I do. I know that very well. I've seen this
She
trend.
was
with
my
us.
secretary when I pastor in
I've seen
Nigeria.
this trend with us Christians.
Yeah.
We so much want to depend on, these prophecies about us being, that we would, God. Of course, it's God's. What's it called? God wants us to be wealthy and all that, and so we sometimes want to depend solely on those prophecies without doing anything. I remember when you started, like you just said, and all that. I know you have mentioned how that you picked yourself, but at what point did you make that decision? Because at that time, people would look at you like, oh, he's a pastor, we admired you, we saw, things about you. At what point did you decide, this is enough, this is not what I really want for myself? Somehow, of course, you were close to, big pastors and all that. So if you want to talk about interacting with people, getting all those prophecies that you would ordinarily want to say you have the faith that this would happen. At what point did you feel this was enough? Like, I'm done doing this, I want to start doing this, instead of just depending on God says, and God says I'm not doing anything about working anything towards that.
Good question. So I think, first of all, for me, when I was pastoring, it wasn't I wasn't paid. It was a voluntary pastoring all through the period I pastored, and I was doing business. But at some point, I realized that the business will grow, and the commitments I had towards pastoring was affecting my ability to pursue that. And I remember, in fact, at some point, I started having guilty conscience about, am I living God's work, just to, chase this business. And one of my senior pastors said to me, he said, look, even he now gave me an example of some other pastors in the ministry that Bishop Oyedepo had to say, hey, I relieve you of all this pastoral work. go face your business. Because if you are broke and you can't feed your family, that would be an issue. So that, and God bless that pastor, because he then gave me like a permission to focus on my business and grow. And of course, I resigned all those responsibilities in church and focused on my business. However, to your other question, because I see like a two question, is you get a lot of prophecies. You're going to be great. You're going to be this. You're going to make it. Like I told you, you're going to be pastor. At what point do you then go after those prophecies in terms of your action, rather than just sitting there and just believing and soaking in? It will happen without action, like faith without work.
That's what was in my mind.
Exactly, yeah, like faith without work. I think for me, it's been from day one. I have always, gone after that. So I started getting prophecy I was going to be very rich and very famous since I was a teenager. Even before teenage years. When people come to our house, I was 13, I was 14, I was 15. We were 5 siblings. This one, some of my siblings will say, you need to pray for this one. You need to go to the mountain. So when they get to me, they say, this one is going to be very famous and very rich. Pray that nothing stop his destiny. So I've always gotten those prophecies that I was going to be very wealthy. However, I think what I did differently is because I knew my dad to have those prophecies. And I knew nothing eventually came out of it. So I wasn't going to just sit down on prophecies and, watch it come to pass. So from university days, I was doing multiple businesses. My wife would tell you the story. And the more I failed, the more I tried. The more I failed, the more I tried. So even though I was pastoring since campus days, I was still doing business. We'll go for church conventions and conferences, and then I'm the only guy. I'm a pastor, and it's like a pastor conference, and everybody's coming like they're pastors. I will come for the conference, but I have a popcorn stand on the side, and during break time, I'm there turning the popcorn, and some of my colleagues will even feel embarrassed to even come close. They'll be like, this guy, man, he's embarrassing the calling, the holy and
the anointing you are using to do popcorn.
He's doing popcorn with the anointing. So I've always been like that. The only problem it created, I'll take the only problem it created was that it then made me look bad, because when I started facing the challenges that come with business, because remember, today you do business, something goes bad, the clients are coming after you, there's one issue. So combining the two, being a pastor, being a business guy, it created an issue for me. So for me, at some point I felt, what I'm going to do, this pastor thing is creating opportunity for blackmail. So I need to let that lie. Let me just go, know me as a business guy. I'm not going to touch this pastor thing. Let me do business. And it worked. Because at that point, people were not blackmailing me anymore about, but he's a pastor, but he's a this, he's a that, and I think that helped me in a great way. I hope I answered the question.
I have a question.
I think one is...
I was just, not a question, it was just a statement.
Yeah.
Like you said, faith without works.
Yes,
It's
it
the
is.
same thing as seek ye first the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
And all things will be added unto you. That's what I have. Comes to me all the time.
Well, it's your, if you hear that, that is your mandate. That's like your, that's like the scripture for God calling you to ministry. Because it's more like God saying to you, hey, seek me first, and I promise you, you will have all these things you want. Because you want it the other way around. You want to be rich before you become a pastor. And it doesn't work that way. What God is saying to you with that scripture is be a pastor first, and I promise you, you're going to be rich.
I ain't signed up for that again.
Well, I think the same thing for you. If he becomes a pastor, it just means God is telling you something.
I used to pastor.
You know, God is telling you something. God is telling you can run away. You can run away. Yes.
Yeah, you gave some prediction about the real estate in KB and all of that. So how can one get involved? Like how one can one?
So for now, what we're doing is we're doing a debt syndication where you invest and you get returns. You know, as low as 50,000, 100,000.
Okay.
You know, we've closed. We used to have 10,000, 30,000. We've closed that.
Okay.
But I mean, for selective people, if they still want that option, we'll give them.
Okay.
The good news is that you can convert that because what we were avoiding is we're still working on getting permits for the designs we've shown you.
Okay.
So if we tell you this is how your 5 bedrooms is going to look like, let's assume there's a change in the design and it means you need you to pay more money. If we go ahead and start selling now, you know, people can sue us to say, hey, you know, you told us this and you're doing this. So we decided to say, let's pause the selling. We definitely need more money, even the approval, all of what we keep needing money for all those stuff. So let's get people to invest, and when we then get the approval, you can then use what you've invested as a deposit for the house.
Okay. Like the investment, is it that you're using to get a house, or you just invest in?
You're investing to get yearly returns.
Yearly return, not like you're trying to manage a home.
No.
Oh.
But you can then, when we now start selling the house, you can now say, okay, what I invested, can you convert it
Okay.
as my money for the house? And you can then maybe add more to it.
Okay.
Yes, so that option is available. Because we have a lot of people who say, I only want house, I don't want investment. So we say, no, don't worry. Put in the investment first. At whatever level, whether it's up to a year or even it's half a year, we then are ready to sell the house. We look at what you invested, the returns that is due, add it as deposit, and you can add more to it, and you buy the house.
So the investment, is this like the return investment, is it monthly or
It's yearly.
Yearly. Oh, okay. What
At
percentage?
this phase, we can't do monthly. You can only do monthly for apartments, and even for apartment, you need to have been running apartment for a while before you can build a system that gives people monthly returns.
Okay.
Else, you're gonna run into trouble. A lot of people try this monthly return thing.
Yeah, it's not really
And Grant Cardone does it, but you can't compare it to Grant Cardone. He didn't start monthly when he started.
Okay.
You know, but today Grant Cardone control over $4 billion properties. You know, so at that level, you have enough resources. You know, there's no guarantee that he's necessarily even waiting for money to come from the tenants before he gives you a returns.
Yeah.
Of course, sometimes maybe he just calculates this was expected to come, and he just gives you your money just so that everybody can be happy. So, and for me, you years down the line, we will start that, but not now.
Okay. It's a good move. It's a very, very good move.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, last question. What are the mistakes to avoid when buying land from family, especially Lagos, Nigeria? Would you like to be your mentee? Well, if you want to be my mentee, I advise you to call my office. We have various mentorship programs. I have group mentorship. I have the Stephen Akintayo University mentorship. I have one-on-one mentorship. So call that number and they will tell you how to be mentored. But to buying land from families, I don't advise you do that. Except you want to become a property developer. And if you want to become a property developer, you need to come for my trainings for developer. I have a program where I train people who want to become property developer in Africa. You need to come for that. But if you are just an individual, you're just buying land for yourself, for your family, don't buy from families. Because if you do, they are going to screw you. And a lot of people have experienced that. And you will certainly hate yourself for it. So it's always better to buy directly from a developer that is credible, that has integrity, We have property all over. Even for those who want to become developers, what I tell them is, you can start with mini estate. That's how I started. I bought from another developer. Our first estate, I bought the developer at 250 acres. I got 50 acres from his 250. You know, that way I was protected from all these family issues that normally come up, and it helped. You know, so I hope I answered your question. But you can call the office, and our team are more than ready to help you. Thank you. God bless you, and thank you all for coming. You know.
Yes, thank you.
So, yes, she's in charge of it. Once you're done, bring it, let me sign for you, and we'll take pictures as well. I want to thank all of you for coming.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to pick.
Cash up with that.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, so.
Consume it. I made the mistake of buying what's it called? Olimide's School of Money. About 5. So,
I don't think that's a mistake. So, for me,
even the DVDs.
no, it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. So for me, when I meet, it's just like when I met Grant. I bought all his books. Up to today, I've not finished reading them. But what I have learned about books is sometimes the day a book will be relevant, you may not be able to get it.
That's true.
You know, so what I do is I buy books and I put it in my shelf. When I'm in a challenge, I go through my shelf. I say, which book fits into my program right now? And it saved me a lot, because sometimes I then get a book. Even in my, if you go to my Nigerian office, all the law reports are there, and they've helped me. Because sometimes we go through some legal issues on land, you know, and I just see this report, and it just gives me an idea of how to overcome. But if I didn't buy all those, and law reports are very expensive.
Yeah, sure.
So if I didn't buy them that time, I say, oh, I will never be able to read them at once. It's a waste of money. The day I need it now, how do I even get the law reports?
Yeah, sure.
So it's wisdom when it comes to books, and for you that you have children, you should buy all and let them read as well. The ones you can read, you read. The ones you're giving them, you will even know which one might interest anyone. Definitely, it's not a regret that you bought Pastor this one.
No.
Trust me, even I didn't just get his stuff, even for my staff, you know, and you see that you can't put a price on intellectual property. You know, it's something that you can't even price. Okay.